It is December 1st here inside the vault. We hope that you and yours had a fantastic Thanksgiving weekend, and we're glad you're with us for a Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. December 1st, it's a Monday. I'm Bobby Trossett. This is my co-host and partner, Sarah Ellison, with that jean jacket. It's clean. Your husband commented on it. I commented on it. Maybe some of the VAULTRONs will as well. We're off and running. Week 14 begins tomorrow. Technically, it'll end tonight between the Patriots and Giants on Monday Night Football. But, Sarah, the AFC North continues to, I guess from a national perspective, underwhelm, because there's some people out there that think the 8 wins can win this thing. Who knows? We'll have to see. It wasn't all that long ago that we were kind of projecting that 10-win number as the magic number, if you will. But what happened yesterday on their home turf in Pittsburgh was just an embarrassment for the Steelers. The Bills came in and rushed for over, I think it was 249 yards total. And that was without, we'll get into all of it in just a bit. But as it relates to the Ravens and Steelers, of course, this division is up for grabs. And coming up on Sunday, it's week 14, Steelers, Ravens, the first of 2 on this closing stretch. A lot more after that in terms of our rundown. Lamar Jackson clapped back at a Steelers, I think technically radio analyst is the right word, radio personality on Twitter. Will Rashad Bateman have a December bounce back? Just 1 target on Thursday night against the Bengals, and obviously he's missed the last couple games with a high ankle sprain. All that and more is what we have coming up, and we have our winner for November's $100 Fanatics giveaway. That's courtesy of Primary Residential Mortgage. Linda's already dropped in $100. Here comes Douglas H. Brown Sr. The super chats are flowing. Partner, it's great to see you.
It's so good to see you. Linda dropped in a hamburger just to scold you from Friday's show. So we'll get to that a little bit later. Did you not read it yet?
I'm going back now. Scolding me for what? Oh, Cincinnati. Okay, we'll get to that.
She needs more positivity from you, clearly.
We'll get into it. She's going to get some reality from me in just a bit. That's what she's going to get. Linda, thank you for throwing in an unrealistic and meaning an unrealistically generous super chat. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that.
The reality is that the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was in first place very, very temporarily due to the Ravens' loss to the Bengals Thursday night on Thanksgiving, we were all there. I'm sure everybody in Pittsburgh was feeling good. We're back in first place. We got the Bills. Everything is in front of us. And then they just got beat up. And when I tell you they got beat up, I mean, Aaron Rodgers looked like he got run over by a freight train. He looked like he got run into a truck. He was between a truck and a brick wall is what it looked like when he came out of that game. 26-7, and they scored that 7 early. And so it wasn't just a loss. It was one of those losses that's so demoralizing. There was boos from the crowd. There were chants for fired Mike Tomlin. Those chants have been going on for years, obviously. But Mike Tomlin was asked about it, and he said, man, I shared their frustrations tonight. We didn't do enough. That's just the reality of it. Apparently the key word so far this morning. And so meanwhile, of course, the Browns also got to play yesterday. They also got stomped by the San Francisco 49ers 26-8. So it's not what we're used to, but we are this year in one of the softer divisions in the NFL. When I say soft, I should just mean weak. Everybody's always beating each other up in the AFC North, but my goodness, it's 6-6, tied with the Steelers, 6-6. The Ravens regain the lead of the AFC North. Bengals, based off of the way everybody's playing, why would you count the Bengals out? They're 4-8. Browns now at 3-9. And so I tell you what, Bobby, if you're going to have a down year, which is what the Ravens have had, if you're going to have a year where Lamar Jackson is fighting through injuries and the offensive line isn't, and holding up its end of the bargain. In the beginning of the year, the defense was just atrocious. If those things were ever going to happen, it would be this year, because the AFC North is just not very strong, and it's anybody's division to take, including the Ravens, and first and foremost, the Ravens.
Yeah, it's anybody's. It's wild to think that at entering week 14, there are still legitimately 3 teams that you could make cases for. Now, Cincinnati's obviously is a tall task, an uphill battle. They basically have to win out, and Joe Burrow's got to remain healthy, even in the midst of having limitations in the aftermath of that toe surgery and whatnot. And when you look at what Pittsburgh has not only put on tape as recently as yesterday, but throughout the season, it's so uncharacteristically subpar on defense that it just, I think it has a lot of people asking very similar questions to those that are being asked in Baltimore. Not has the message grown stale at the top when it comes to head coach evaluation, but could change potentially, not only be merited, but yield results, different results in the coming years. Maybe not right away, the snap of the fingers next year, but moving forward. I mean, this is a Steelers team that while they've been balanced and consistent, they've been consistently subpar in the postseason, not having won a playoff game under Mike Tomlin there since 2016. And we know that while John Harbaugh's won more playoff games over that span, they haven't gotten to where ultimately this roster should have, at least on paper, have gotten a chance to take them, which is obviously playing in February. So as you take a look at the AFC playoff picture, man, this thing's going to change time and time again between now and the first couple weeks of January. New England, who's going to play tonight against the Giants on Monday Night Football, right now leads the way. The Patriots would have the top overall seed in that bye if things ended today. Denver beat the Commanders in last-second fashion last night on Sunday Night Football. I believe, was this screenshot before then? Are they 10-2? Denver, can you get an update on that while I rip through the playoff picture? I can't remember.
Yep.
They might be 10-2 now. But anyway, Jacksonville 8-4, Baltimore 6-6. They would all be your divisional winners at the moment. Wild card teams would be the Chargers, Colts, who are in a world of hurt right now, and their schedule down the stretch is certainly challenging. And Buffalo, and then in the hunt, look out for the Texans. They're surging right now at 7-5. Pittsburgh 6-6. Kansas City, razor thin margin for error. They got to win this upcoming weekend. And Miami 5-7, technically still in this. And crazy enough, you can throw the Bengals in the hunt too, based on what they have in front of them. Did you check on that? Are they 10 or 9?
10-2. 10-2.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay, so this was taken prior to the completion of Sunday Night Football. But anyway, as we look at it,
I think this was during Sunday Night Football.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So as we kind of look at this thing from not only the Steelers lens, but the AFC North lens, here is Kalshi. The Ravens continue to sit in pole position, if you will, to use one of Mike Tomlin's favorite terms, pole position from an analytical standpoint to win the AFC North. And you have a graph here that showcased what and what, before and after what.
Yeah, so before and after the Steelers loss. So before the Steelers loss, the Ravens' chances of winning the AFC North was 52.5, and the Steelers' chances were 32. Well, the Steelers dropped, as of this morning, by 7.5 points. So they're down to 25%. And the Ravens raised almost 10%. So they're up to 61%. It's almost like the graph we looked at before the Ravens lost on Thursday night. We're just right back to where we were, where both teams were 5-5. So, and then if you're wondering, just because I don't have it in the screen grab, but the Cincinnati Bengals chances moved up to 10%. The last time I had looked in, I think they were close to like 8%. They were still in the single digits. So, I mean, the way things are rolling in the AFC North, like, why wouldn't the Cincinnati Bengals be like, why can't it be us? You know, why can't it be us? So, but here's the thing. Bengals out of mind for just one more week, right? Because this week, here you have the top two teams in the AFC North, both at 6-6. And this is a massive game on Sunday. They're going to meet each other. And they're going to be able to see Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Pete, what is this? What is this, like, broken-looking nose courtesy of Nick Bosa? You know, where he just absolutely...
Joey.
Yeah, Joey Bosa.
His brother,
thank you.
Joey got him good. He got him real good. And how Aaron came back into the game, Sarah, after leaving. And by the way, Mason Rudolph comes in, throws a pick. So that certainly didn't help the whole momentum. But there wasn't a whole lot of momentum to be had when you cannot stop the run. Can we just remind everybody that Buffalo was down? And I guess this just speaks to any given Sunday and how different things can look any given week in this league with this parity and this balanced attack, that all these different teams take different shapes on any given week. Sarah, Buffalo was down both of its starting tackles.
Yeah.
Both of its starting tackles, and they ran all over the Steelers, 249 rushing yards. So there wasn't a whole lot of momentum to be had, regardless of whether Mason goes into that game and throws an interception. I don't think it changes the end result whatsoever. This was a game that was utterly dominated by the Buffalo Bills and had the Steelers, not only their fans in dire straits, but some of the media obligations. There's a lot of dysfunction going on right now. You had booing that was piping through the broadcast during Renegade. You had Fire Mike Tomlin chants piping through the broadcast mid-game. And based on some of the camera shots from CBS, Acrisure looked empty or darn near close to it in the fourth quarter. So
kind of like M&T Bank.
I was going to say, you know what? Does anybody not think that this ultimately isn't going to be decided a month from now, the regular season finale between the Ravens and Steelers? I could get on board for an AFC North ultimately being decided in Week 18. That game's going to be played in Pittsburgh. It would not surprise me. But should we cut to Aaron Rodgers post-game? This is garnering quite a bit of attention throughout the Twitter circles. He had this to say. I spliced it all together. Brooke Pryor is involved in here, by the way. Hopefully we can track her down this week, being that great. She's the best of the best. It's been a long time since we had her on. She's the ESPN Steelers reporter. Here is Aaron Rodgers, a blunt assessment of where his offense stands right now through 13 weeks of football.
In the game and in practice, is something that's not being done right from a coaching aspect or preparation aspect that's kind of framing you guys in the wrong way?
I know what you're trying to ask, and I'm not going to go down that road at all. I believe in the coaching staff. I believe in Mike Tomlin. That's why I came here. And players need to take accountability, myself included, and I will continue to. I got to play better. But there's 11 stars on offense, 11 on defense, plus with the personnel groupings that we run. And we got to have a Monday to Saturday that we can be really proud of, our best Monday to Saturday, and go out and play our best game and take control of the division. When there's film sessions, everybody shows up. And when I check to a route, you do the right route, you know? Like John and I just weren't on the same page. I checked to his in-breaker and he ran an outbreaker. John is a true professional, so I'm sure he's sick about that. But I threw a ball I thought was going to get hit by the wind, and it was 4 yards over Roman. So I got to make that throw. But we have our meetings every week. We have other opportunities outside of the facility, and look forward to seeing all the boys there.
All right, Sarah, bruised, battered, and broken, I guess, through 13 weeks, and now it's Ravens Steelers. You can't be bruised, battered, and broken going into that game. You can certainly be after Ravens Steelers, but going in that way, does not bode well for a 40-plus-year-old quarterback who obviously he can't even take snaps under center right now, Sarah, because he's playing with somewhat of a small I don't know what it's been called, but it's a small fracture in his non-throwing hand.
And he had that going into the game, right?
Going into the game.
Yeah.
And the fact that Joey Bosa got such a good licking on him and somehow, some way doesn't refracture that or re-aggravate it or do anything. Instead, it just takes his nose out instead, as you see here on the screen, is a miracle. I don't know how that ends up not fall, all the weight that Bosa's momentum and that play, I'm sure, bared on his body. He's lucky that he was able to get back into the game. But anyway, 41 years old. This offense is in dire straits.
This is what 41 in the NFL looks like.
They cannot stop the run. Hopefully that bodes well for a Ravens offensive attack coming up on Sunday. But that was the story last night, Sarah. And even I listened to the entire press conference. Mike Tomlin's, Aaron Rodgers, and TJ Watts. And they are at a loss right now. Their backs are up against the wall, but yet everything is, what they're saying in Pittsburgh? They're saying the exact same thing that folks are saying in Baltimore.
Yeah.
They control their own destiny, and they're right. Each fan base is right when you look at it that way.
They are both right. I have more confidence in one team over the other. As low as they've both been, I've got more confidence in one or the other. And part of it is kind of what you brought up. Somebody needs to get in Todd Monken's ear. Can we just show Todd Monken this screen grab from the TV broadcast last night? The Pittsburgh Steelers, at this point in the game, had given up 237 rush yards. That was the most in stadium history. Okay, they surpassed 240 by the time everything was said and done, marking the most rushing yards at Pittsburgh by an opposing team since 1975. And it was Buffalo who had done it before, 310 yards back in September of 1975. That was even before I was born. I'm a 79 baby. That was a while ago.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
I'll just continue to reiterate, without both their starting tackles.
Right. And that's going to continue because as they announced before the game started that they put starting left tackle Broderick Jones on the reserve injured list. He's not going to be there Sunday. And so you've got Aaron Rodgers bruised and fractured and and
Which the live chat's loving. Everybody's loving that 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers is looking like who's the guy in Home Alone that he's being compared to?
The guy in Home Alone that he's being compared to. Yes. Oh, when they like at the end where like Joe Pesci or who's the other guy? Yeah, the robbers, both the robbers just beat up by Kevin. So perfect on December 1st. What a great analogy today.
I thought that was one of the funniest comparisons.
Marv. His name is Marv.
Here it is right here. I mean, first of all.
Where like the iron comes down from up above and like hits him right in the face.
I mean, first of all, come on. Like, best Christmas movie of all time by far. And not particularly close. Okay. Christmas Vacation for me with Clark. That's got to be in the conversation. But like, look at Aaron right now and tell me that you don't think of the iconic scene that you're just referring to right now with Kevin McAllister beating up Marvin and who? Who's his running? Who's his wingman? Marvin. Help us out, chat.
Well, I know it's Joe Pesci. What's Marv?
It's an all-time scene. I mean, come on. Everybody.
And I gotta pull up this iron.
Harry, thank you, Ashley. Harry. Marv and Harry just get the snot beat out of them by Kevin McAllister. This is all-time stuff.
I gotta pull up a picture of this now. Now we're going down rabbit holes, but how can we not? And by the way, just a side note, the fact that you can play in the NFL at 41, okay, we're just gonna give him his props for a second. Like I'm 45, like that's incredible, but you are getting beat up. He is getting beat up.
And guess what, Sarah? He turns 42 tomorrow, does Aaron. And he had no business going back in that game. The game was far from it wasn't technically, it was all but over. And so the fact that he went back into that game at 41, I mean, look, you call me what I want. Live chat's going to go off, but I thought just nobody's going to ever question this dude's toughness.
Oh, well, I'm questioning it.
I knew you wouldn't go that far. You compliment him.
I'm questioning whether he should be there. I'm questioning whether he should have been in there at 41 years old. Look at these screens. How about this one right here?
This is classic.
This is the one. That's the one right there. Right there.
This is absolutely classic. I mean, look at this. But here's the thing, though. The reason why it's more like Harry is the black winter hat.
Oh, like
right. So let's get Harry with the black trench hat almost, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, look at him.
What do they call him? I mean, it's like a
trench coat. Are you talking about a trench coat?
Thieves hat, though. Right? It's like a thieves winter hat. You know.
I don't know.
This is the best. This is the best rabbit hole ever.
This is not where I thought the show was going today. When I woke up this morning, I did not think I'd be having Marv and Harry pictures beat up by Kevin McAllister on the show today.
I am genuinely happy we're down this rabbit hole right now because there's never a December that comes around where I'm not like giddy to go watch Home Alone, and I'll watch it over and over and over again. And somehow, some way, not feel like it's stale. It is so far from stale. I'm glad we went there, Sarah. I'm glad, but bring us back on the tracks, please.
I'll bring us back on track. So, Patrick Queen, who we all know well, was also beat up a little bit. I think he got injured. And Trey Essex, who was a former Steelers offensive lineman, he called out Tomlin, saying maybe it is time to move on, but he also called out Patrick Queen. He goes, he's hurt, but I'm over the Patrick Queen experiment. Simply put, he's not a Steelers linebacker. He's not Ferrier. He's not Timmons. He's not Shazier. He doesn't play with that disposition. We missed that on the signing. And for our main rival to let him leave, he says it should have been a sign. So Patrick Queen, he doesn't like that. He clapped back. He said, never was a Pro Bowler or All-Pro, but get on here yapping. Got carried your whole career back and forth from the bench. STFU is what he says. So listen, I like Patrick Queen as like the analogy I've seen a lot online is like he's more of a Robin. So he was good as Robin to Roquan Smith as Batman. But if you're signing him to be like the lead guy in an inside linebacker duo, that's not who he is. That's not who he is. He's more of a complementary piece rather than the lead piece. So just on all angles, right? Like Mike Tomlin's being called out to be fired. Aaron Rodgers is beat up. Patrick Queen's being called out saying we shouldn't have signed him in the first place. Both their tackles are missing. Their defense isn't playing as like a storied Steelers defense. Like it's just all around. They're kind of imploding, which means going into Sunday, they're either continue the implosion or they'll be angry and be like, let us show you who we really are. I think the former is more likely to happen.
We'll see. I think we'd probably be having we had our conversation that we're having today about the Ravens, obviously on Friday, because they played Thanksgiving night. We're having the Steelers conversation because they were several days later, obviously in the 4:00 window yesterday. If you go back to Friday, though, speaking of the Steelers, a former Pittsburgh Steeler, Ryan Clark, ESPN analyst, had this to say about what he's seen not only on Thursday night by a Ravens team that at times looked uncharacteristic, or if we've been watching offensively in recent weeks, looked right on par with what they've been. He had this to say about where they've been, where they're going, and made a prediction.
Ravens are cooked. And I know people are going to say that they could still win the AFC North. I wish this could be like Hunger Games and the Kansas City Chiefs could be a tribute for them and we could give them their spot. Because when you watch the Baltimore Ravens play, and even though they've been on this winning streak, this is what they've looked like. Now, it hasn't been the turnovers, but there's no chemistry between Lamar and his wide receivers. Offensively, they aren't running the football at a clip that we're normally seeing from them. And Lamar Jackson, until last night, wasn't even using his legs. This team hasn't played great offense since the Buffalo Bills game, which they lost that game as well.
Yeah.
And so
that was week one.
And then what happened, right? Zach Orr fixed the defense by acquiring Aloy Gilman and moving Kyle Hamilton close to the line. People are figuring out that at this moment too. This isn't the team that we thought they were. At the beginning of the season, they have the best roster. This is the team to beat. They are not executing and playing like it. They will be one and done in the playoffs, and that's if they make it in a terrible AFC North.
All right, that was from Friday. This is a team that, by the way, we were all saying that, including Ryan himself. I don't know who he was quoting there. He should have been quoting himself there with all the roster projections and roster love, right? He certainly was one of them. We all were. All were. But two different definitions, obviously, of cooked, as we talked about in our pre-show meeting. Ryan thinks they're going to be one and done in the postseason. I'm on record back in October, whenever it was now, well over a month ago, for saying that they were cooked in terms of postseason contention. Obviously, prepared in the coming weeks to eat those words. We will see how things shake out. But Ryan, I think we can all agree right now, Sarah, that this is a team that should they make the playoffs, which they're favored to do analytically right now and have been for weeks since they've dug themselves out. Even before that, Vegas has really enjoyed them or thought highly of them, even with that 1-5 hole, given that favorable stretch that they had where they were able to rip off 5 straight. This doesn't appear to be a team in the current makeup that I would feel confident about being not one and done.
Okay. Well, okay. First of all, there were like 3 things that I thought was off with what he just said. I do agree with the roster. We were all projecting this roster like, this is a Super Bowl, roster, contending roster, all that kind of stuff. Obviously that was overvalued. That being said, why does KC get a tribute? Like, are they just lost on Thanksgiving? What is KC doing? KC's not done anything to earn a tribute. It's a weak division right now, but KC doesn't earn it. Then he said the Ravens hadn't played good offense since the Buffalo Bills game. That's just not true. When Lamar was healthy, they were still churning out 30 plus points. And then when Lamar first came back against Miami, I'd say Miami was the last good game. Then he said that Kyle Hamilton had been figured out.
Good half. If we want to get nitty gritty, I'd say just good half against Miami.
Then him saying that Kyle Hamilton had been figured out. What? No. The Cincinnati Bengals got things going when Nate Wiggins went down. They didn't find an answer to Wiggins going down quick enough. And so does that mean Kyle Hamilton has been figured out? What? I wasn't buying much of what he said there. So listen, I have felt strongly since you said the Ravens were cooked that they were not, in terms of, I always thought they were going to make it to the playoffs. I still feel that way. I still feel like they're going to win the AFC North. Now, is it a sure bet that they're going to be one and done? Well, here, let's look at this. You tell me. If the season ended today, the Ravens would be the 4 seed, and then they would play at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. Why do the Ravens have to be one and done against the Los Angeles Chargers? I don't think that, you know what I mean?
Here's what I'll say. Sure. Here's what I'll say. As has been in years past. Excuse me. As has not been in years past. I can't sit here and stand on a table and shout from the rooftops that I think that they're a guarantee, write it in ink, bona fide playoff team in the sense that no matter who they play in the opening round is going to be a win. That's been the case in recent years. I can't sit here and confidently tell you that that's the case this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far either. I wouldn't write it in ink. I wouldn't but if somebody was going to ask me to predict today, if the Ravens and Chargers were meeting this week in the playoffs, I would predict a Ravens win.
Why? Well, what gives you that, now you're not standing on a table, I don't think right now.
No.
But why are you standing up?
Yeah.
For that?
Because I feel like the formula would fit well against the Chargers. I don't feel like they are like this high flying. The teams that scare me for the Ravens are the ones that can put up 30 plus points. Because all of a sudden the Ravens seem to panic from Todd Monken down. It's like all of a sudden they lose their identity. But I feel like against somebody like the Chargers, the Ravens can maintain their identity. I think that John feels confident against his brother. He doesn't panic against his brother. I feel like they could stay within themselves. I don't think that the Chargers are scary to me. They're just not. And so, again, if it were the Bills, I'd be a little bit more nervous because they'll put up 30 points. We could talk about the others. But again, if the Ravens, which they won't, but if they drew the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's not scary to me. And so I just think that, yeah, so you're telling me if the Ravens and Chargers are playing Sunday, you're taking the Chargers?
I mean, I'd have to consider it. I'm just not.
Well, I mean, you asked me why. I gave an answer, so let's volley it right back. Give the answer.
Based on the way the Ravens are playing, I'd have to analyze the matchup, and I don't know. I honestly don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. And that's the difference
I guess what I'm saying is I'm still not buying that they're cooked, because there's partially how the Ravens are playing and how you project them to play going forward. Those are two elements. And the third element is the opposition. And the opposition of, say, the LA Chargers aren't scaring me. And I'm projecting, which you won't project. And what we're gonna dig more into this in the next segment. But I'm projecting a bounce back from Lamar Jackson. That's the main reason for I'm with everybody. I can see what everybody else saw. I saw how poorly Lamar played on Thanksgiving night. I saw that. We dissected it. We went through it. My reaction to it is different from other people. We can all see what happened. He missed some reads. He was off target. He wasn't accurate. I mean, it's not the Lamar we're used to seeing, but I put a lot more stock into who Lamar Jackson has been since 2018. Shoot, I put more stock in him and what he was doing weeks 1 through 4 before the injury to say that I have confidence he'll bounce back as long as he gets healthy. And I think because he looked so much healthier last week, plus this 10-day bye, plus I think he's simmering, which again, we'll get into soon. It's because of my belief that he's going to bounce back that I think the Ravens are not cooked. They could be one and done, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion like it is for Ryan Clark.
Time will tell. Let's get to a read, some super chats, and back to what you keep teasing there with Lamar Online, which made for some good weekend entertainment there, clapping back against a Steelers reporter's claim. I think he's a radio analyst. But anyway, let's give out our $100 giveaway, shall we? Because it's sitting in my inbox right now. And you know who it's going to? I feel like this guy never misses a show. We randomly selected this winner, and it's our guy, Sadesh. Now, Sadesh, can you make sure that I'm not botching your name, please, before I award you these $100 that go directly towards Baltimore's team store, courtesy of Primary Residential Mortgage. We appreciate them for the continued support, and let's read his actual comment. Let's see. Where is he? Here it is. Sadesh. Big house, 10 acres of yard space, pool in the backyard, man cave, #vault. That's from Sadesh Budrum. Is it Budrum or Budrum? Hopefully I'm not botching it regardless. But anyway, every single month, courtesy of Primary Residential Mortgage, Sarah, we've been giving out these $100 Fanatics gift cards. This month's no exception. So, Sadesh, you know the drill. Email us at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. We would love to make sure that you get that in your grasp, in your hands before the holiday season really commences. It really already is, but we're 25 days out from Christmas. So anyway, thanks to Primary. They do have a message for you as well. And I've got some notes on it because they got this new Empower FHA 203K loan, Sarah, that I think maybe some Vaultrons might consider checking out, whether it's before or after the new year. If you want to get your home buying process started, maybe you consider this. Have you ever seen a home, a piece of property that needs a little work, but after that work's done, could potentially be your dream home? If that's the case, the PRMI Empower FHA 203K loan could be ideal for you. It's ideal for turning a fixer-upper into your dream home. It's a loan that you can do renovations on, that you also get down payment assistance on, and it's a program that offers you the same great things that a renovation loan offers, but it's coupled with down payment assistance to help you get to the table for less money. We're talking up to 5% down payment assistance based on purchase price. It's not just for first-time home buyers. There are no income limits. 620 or higher is the credit score that gets you in the door, and renovation costs are uncapped within FHA limits. What you're seeing right now on the screen is me and Sarah's landing page at primeres.com, where you can get started. You can apply now. It's a pretty simple process. And the folks in the Towson location, which was my home branch when I was in the Baltimore area, they're right there at your beck and call. Zach and Michael and Devin, they got a great staff. Nas on the marketing side of things. So go give them a call if you'd like to. All that information is available to you in the show notes. And again, if you want to work with Primary, you do not necessarily need to be in the Baltimore area. They are all throughout the country. They have branches that are actually headquartered, Sarah, in your home state of Utah. You currently live in Ohio, but you were born in, were you born in Colorado or Utah?
I was born in Colorado.
I was going to say, you spent
Went to
time.
college in Utah.
Yes, thank you. And your parents currently live in Utah, but you guys get the drip. You do not necessarily need to be in the Maryland area to work with Primary Residential Mortgage. And we want to say continued thanks to them. Sudesh, we hope to hear from you, brother. Can't wait to get you that $100 Fanatics gift card in your possession. Let's get to some super chats. And why don't you take this one from Linda?
Yeah, this is Linda scolding you, so sure, I'll read it.
Of course, you'll take it.
Linda said, listen to Friday's show on Saturday. Y'all usually make me feel better after a loss, but Bobby, in all caps, what was up with all the Bengal Burrow love? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. You are voted off the island, she says. Please let me hear positivity and optimism today.
All right.
Just so you know, let's just skip right to it, just so you know, because she did follow up during our conversation just now about the postseason and cooking. She said, I think Bobby forgot the positivity part of my super chat. LOL. He will get on the Ravens train after they win the Super Bowl.
Linda, you are the best for those super chats. I think you know where I stand in terms of commentary and what I try to bring to the vault. You know, it's a different approach to what maybe some diehard Ravens fans want or are looking for. But I thought that, the Bengals and Joe Burrow especially played well enough and better than the Ravens on Thursday night in a game that they had to have. And now, while it's an uphill battle, there is still a scenario with the Bills, Ravens again in 2 weeks, Dolphins, Cardinals, and Browns, that there is a scenario that Cincinnati could find itself in a few weeks' time, Sarah, very much in this race. While it's a 2-team race right now, it could end up being a 3-team race in just a few weeks. So that's just the way that I look at it. I really appreciate your super chats. I'm sorry that I'm not bringing you what you want. Captain, why don't you take this one again, partner?
He says, we are about to see a special run from Lamar. I think he knew they didn't have any room for mistakes and played hesitant. They woke up a monster.
That's a good segue into our next topic. Brian Walters says, we're first in the Special Olympics that is the AFC North. Yay? What's it called when you mix hope with depression? Douglas H. Brown Sr. says, hello, gang. Made it back in time to be here. Great to see you and great to hear from you, DHB Sr. Happy Thanksgiving, my man. He gifted 5 channel memberships on top of that $20 super chat, so we appreciate you, brother. Chad is here. I believe it's Chad Bauer, has also gifted a membership. Chad, hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. And this is where it starts to get tough with some of the handles that we're not used to seeing. Is it Shanae or Shania? But happy birthday.
Yeah, she says, I'll be there, meaning I think she means the Ravens-Steelers game, because that day it will be her birthday. She said, we need a win badly. That's true.
Happy early birthday. Ravens Flock 5752 is lobbying for an extension for Cheeto Awuzie. If he keeps playing that way, Sarah, as we discussed at the end of last week, he'll certainly be a candidate for Eric DeCosta. Captain is back, and he says, we can do the same thing with Keaton and run off tackle. That's all Buffalo did the whole game, but somehow we'll do the opposite. Hope I'm wrong. Sarah, it was a very similar formation that worked over and over and over again for the Bills. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Perhaps the Ravens pull that out of their bag coming up on Sunday.
Let's bring down those Rasheen Ali snaps and bring up Keaton and Derek, please. Keaton and Derek. That's what we need.
That brings us to Joseph Burton, who, some NFL news. The Vikings released Adam Thielen, veteran wide receiver. Another one from Ravens Flock 5752 for you.
He says Rodgers needs a regulation chin strap. Hashtag buckle up, bud.
Brian Walters says Derrick Henry averaging 6.6 yards per carry, limited to 10 carries in the second half against the Bengals. Offense malpractice. Sudesh, who is our winner. What up, Sudesh?
Yes.
You're the $100 Fanatics gift card giveaway, brother. Can't wait to hopefully hear from you. BaltimoreRavensVault at gmail.com. You know the drill. He says Lamar Action Jackson Avenge Tour. And Ravens Flock 5752 is back with a third super chat.
Ooh, says in Burrow is Kevin McAllister. Macaulay Culkin, XD.
Going back to our rabbit hole from
a
couple minutes ago, which was an awesome one. Joseph Burton says, I didn't think you were a day over 30, Sarah. Heck yeah. Laney lately says, both teams need this W. It's going to be a dogfight that comes down to who wants it bad enough. And Oceans 08 is here with us today.
Ocean says, friendly reminder, in 2012, Ravens lost 4 out of 5 going into the playoffs. So I remember. And considering how the AFC looks now, anything is possible. Relax.
And Joseph Burton says, we just have to start clicking at the right time. No one in 2012 thought the Ravens were a Super Bowl team. Football starts now. Hashtag let's go. Joseph also writes, Bobby Buffalo and Bobby Burrow has me in tears. I'm sure it does, Joseph. It's Pete06 celebrating 4 months of channel membership with us for you.
You said his name with such disdain, Joseph. All right, he says, do we deserve to get into the playoffs? Maybe not. If we get in, the team I'm most scared of is the Ravens themselves. Also, Lamar's outgrown Monken.
And John Will, 1989, could not disagree with that last statement more. John Will, 1989, celebrating 5 months of channel membership. And John writes, we do think Lamar's conversations with his mom have been over the last month. What do we think Lamar's conversations with his mom have been over the last month? Does she need to start cursing again, as I butchered that entire super chat? I'm sure they've had plenty. I think they lived together for parts of the season. So I'm sure there's been plenty. Thanks,
there
John.
probably has been plenty. I doubt there's any cursing if he's been injured for so many weeks.
But man, as we discussed on Friday, though, it seemed like, while injuries are, of course, at the top of mind, given that there's been 4 lower body ailments at the very least, that there was more to the deficiencies on Thursday than just injury related. But So it's something we already talked
He had
about.
some bad reads for sure. But we're going to get into that.
And why don't we get fully caught up to speed too? Before we do, you're about to lead us into his clap back on Twitter. Dre Dog says one of the rare things that we see the Ravens do is look at teams' previous success against the team that they're about to face and employ some of the tactics. I hope this week is different. Thanks, Dre Dog. And appreciate all you guys for being with us on this Monday. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic long Thanksgiving weekends with you and yours and everyone else that celebrated the holiday with travels and hopefully good meals and good company. Over 1,900 concurrents at the moment. If you could on the way in, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership today. And partner, lead us into our next topic, please.
Oh, I will lead this next topic for sure because, you know, Lamar likes to clap back every once in a while, and he did after Thursday because there are many people who are saying what Andrew Filipino is saying. He is a Steelers reporter. And after Lamar's atrocious game, we can all agree that it wasn't a great game. He says, can we all agree that Lamar Jackson is at the very least a little overrated? No, Andrew, we cannot all agree on that. Lamar Jackson saw that. He responds by saying, say less, with a laughing emoji. And another Ravens fan, Tavis 32 here says, puts up a graphic of Lamar Jackson in his first 4 weeks. First 4 weeks of this season. We don't even need to go back to next season. We don't need to go back to 2019. We don't need to go back to 2023. And this is what's getting me the most riled up is people are having amnesia and pretending that the injuries have nothing to do with this. But before his injuries, he had 10 touchdown passes, which led the NFL. He had 130.5 passer rating, which led the NFL. And he led the team, the offense, to 32.8 points per game, third in the NFL. So Lamar acknowledging that injuries have set him back. So he responds to that tweet and what is that emoji? Is that a shh emoji? Is that what that is? Looks like one of those
zoom in on it.
Emojis. He says, you know, this is what haters wait for. And Lamar's absolutely right, because here's what's funny. We already know that there was a chorus of people saying that Lamar Jackson wouldn't make it in the NFL as a quarterback. There were a chorus of people saying either he should move a position or he'll be done quickly, or they've got blueprints against him. Just wait until people get film, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Andrew is one of those people. Let me remind you that in 2018, in August of 2018, after he was drafted, and Mason Rudolph, Steelers quarterback, was also drafted in 2018, but he was in the third round. Andrew wrote, Mason Rudolph will end up being a better NFL quarterback than Lamar Jackson. You can't tell me there's not a number of people who didn't believe in Lamar Jackson from the beginning and was probably just punching air every time he had success. Every time he would create a new record. Every time he would take the Ravens to the playoffs. Every time he'd win an MVP. Every time he'd win an All-Pro. This is the person who's saying, can we agree he's at least a little overrated? Coming from, can you say, Andrew, that you were wrong? Mason Rudolph will end up being a better NFL quarterback than Lamar Jackson? And Lamar's right. This is what people wait in the weeds for. And by the way, at some point, because Father Time catches up, eventually everybody that said that Lamar was no good will be able to say that. They just won't be honest about it. Father Time someday will keep up with Lamar Jackson. That's not what is happening today. He's had 4 different lower body injuries. And so, yes, he looked more healthy, but this is what they waited for. Probably his worst game that I think I've ever seen him play. And suddenly, everything he's done has been erased. And he wants everybody to agree that he is overrated. So Lamar seems to me that he's simmering. He's simmering, coming up to a boil. And he knows Andrew isn't the only one. There's a lot of people doing this to Lamar right now. What you got,
Andrew's
Bobby?
a pain in the arse. He's a pain in the arse. And you want to know why he's good at what he does? Because he's a radio personality and you're supposed to drive debate. And that's what he's done with this in ridiculous fashion.
He's loved it. He's still going on strong on it.
And you know what? The Ravens gave him what he wanted, and maybe we're giving him what he wanted with this coverage as well. But BaltimoreRavens.com put together a column or an article on this, and it's Lamar Jackson claps back at Steelers hater. And so what does Andrew do? He takes that link and says the Ravens team website's doing damage control for Lamar. He's hit rock bottom. He then goes and says, update, Lamar's down bad. He's responding to very fair tweets by me criticizing his awful play. He tells me to say less. Hey, Lamar, how about you play better? I'm living rent-free in the struggling MVP's herd. This is great news for the Steelers. This is just, I mean, come on. This is parody. Parody. This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Whatever. He's getting what he wants. We're giving it to him. But Lamar, listen, we're covering what Lamar responds to. So we're going to respond to it also. And it's just, and it's not only that, it's like this type of stuff. And I get it. You're going to write articles on it and whatever, but even this stuff kind of drives me nuts. Where the Baltimore Sun wrote an article. So here's the Twitter lead to it. When you click in, it says Lamar Jackson, who at his best is a dazzling blur, looks broken. The reasons for the Ravens quarterback struggles demand scrutiny. Okay, so then they have this column, almost like a think piece, right? That's what they're saying. It demands scrutiny, and that's fine. We can do it, but it's not rocket science. They came up with 4 different reasons, 2 of which are obvious. The first one they said is his injuries. The second one they said was the offensive line. The third one they said was that he is missing reads. And I want to give them that due. How about this? Here's a run option read that Sip to Tally, Coach Evans, who was just on the show last week. And Bobby, is he coming on tomorrow?
I got to check that with him.
Okay, but he should be coming on this week. And I'm hoping that he can do the Emory Jones film breakdown. So anyway, here's Sip to Tally on a read option that Lamar missed.
Shoulders. Look at his shoulders. That is a give read. And if he gives it, look what Derek got. Why? That dude not coming down the line of scrimmage. His shoulder's not turned that way. That's a give the ball to Derek. That's a give read. And if he gives it to Derek, because nobody knows Derek don't have the ball. Look what happens if he get. Come on, dog.
Okay,
Sarah,
so there's that one.
Just so we're clear on the calendar and whatnot. So
yeah.
Coach Evans, as some of you know, is an educator by day, creator by night, and he works his freaking tail off. Because of that schedule, we are not set to have him on again until the 23rd of this month.
Oh, okay.
To be clear. Yep. But we'll do our best to get some film in this week. We'll have to take a look, and we'll have our conversations with our crew and get back to you on that.
Okay. Well, we've got plenty of people that would love to come on and do a film study with us. So we'll try to get that in here. But anyway, so Lamar misread the outside linebacker in his shoulders. He should have given it to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has a whole, the sea parted. Derrick Henry would have had a big gain, bare minimum a first down, but Lamar misread it. He kept the ball and he got tackled without much of a gain there. Then Lamar was asked about this. This is the play, Bobby, where Lamar is about to throw it to Zay Flowers, but last minute he decides to keep it, but then it slips out of his hand. Now let me pause it right there. Okay, Zay Flowers is about at the 40-yard line. Can you see him? At about the 40-yard line, wide open. Lamar was asked about it after the game, where he was about to throw it to him, and then he said that he thought in Tampa 2 there was a Mike linebacker that was there, and he didn't want to throw blindly. So maybe he didn't see it. Which, he is, it's not like he's not under a little bit of duress here. So, it's possible he just didn't see it, which is fine. But as, the franchise quarterback, you are paid to see it. So anyway, I want to do the due diligence. I'm not turning a blind eye. Here's
another one. Just perfect segue for you. He misses mark on what would be a simple, dink and dunk check down. Mark Andrews is on the where are we right now?
On
Left-hand
our
side
left?
of your screen right now. So just watch Mark's reaction after Lamar's not even looking his way here. And it's hard to tell the nuance. He's looking for Zay Flowers. He fires high. It sails on him there. But if you look at Mark, and it's hard to see it from the end zone angle there. So maybe this is better. If you look at Mark on the bottom of your screen right here, this is a simple check down, bang. It would have gone for, positive yardage, and Mark knew it right there, right inside the 50-yard line. So anyway, just so that we're being thorough on some of the areas that went awry on Thursday night, this is one of them.
Yeah. So I wanted to do our due diligence and show it is more than injuries. At least this last game was more than injuries, and it was more than the offensive line. He misread situations, and he was inaccurate. We saw how many throws sailed on him, including to Zay Flowers and some others. Lamar Jackson, there's no way to sugarcoat it. He had a terrible game. That being said, he has a terrible game, and what I don't like is that his entire history is now erased. And it's people like Andrew being like, "Whoa, he's overrated." Like, no, a two-time MVP is not overrated. He's not. The fact that the Ravens go to the playoffs every time he's healthy, that's not overrated. That's not overrated. He's in a rut that I believe was set off by his injuries, and he hasn't been able to fully practice Wednesdays. He hasn't been out there on Wednesdays for at least 3 weeks in a row. So there's the difference. We all saw the same ball game. It's how do you react to it? People like Andrew, he's overrated. I remember you said on Friday, on a scale from 1 to 10, your confidence level, he'll bounce back even if he's healthy at 90 plus. You were at a 5. I'm at a 9. If he gets healthy, he's going to be playing a lot better. And a healthy Lamar Jackson will beat the beat up Steelers. Todd Monken doesn't have to worry about a team on Sunday that can put up 30 points. I don't believe the Steelers can do that. So the Ravens can play within themselves. They don't have to worry about panicking. They don't have to worry about keeping up. They don't have to worry about all that. Just play within yourselves. Use Derrick Henry. This team just gave up 250 yards at home. Just play clean football and everything will be fine.
What else you got in the
Well, I just wanted to point this out. This bothered me. After that play that we just showed where Lamar Jackson was taking back the pass to Zay Flowers and it slipped out of his hands, Lamar was saying that it was a forward pass and it should have been incomplete. And John Harbaugh agreed. And so he was saying to the referees, that's bad. That's bad. That's so bad. And I cannot tell you how many of these aggregator Twitter sites acted like he was saying to Lamar, that's bad. I mean, it was a bad play. But once again, it's not just, hey, Lamar's overrated. It's like, ooh, let's go ahead and see if we can get coach versus coach and his quarterback against each other. Let's see if we can get coach criticizing Lamar. Lamar played bad. He was talking to the refs right there. He was talking to the refs. So I can't even tell you, there were multiple aggregator Twitter accounts that try to frame it that way.
Yeah, these guys are making a living off it. It's ML football. It's Dov. It's Brick. Whatever. What's this? Brick Center. I mean, these guys. Can Elon come in here and clean it up a little bit? Let's go.
Yeah. So anyway, we're about to find out. Lamar's either going to make me look wrong, he's going to make me look bad, or he's going to prove me right.
I don't think you're wrong to lean on a repeated pattern of Lamar's resiliency over the course of his career.
Mm-hmm.
I think where you and I are having a tough time finding middle ground on is I don't feel confident that he's going to be healthy again this year.
Yeah, but that's why I asked you specifically on Friday, though, is let's take a scenario that he's back to 90%. Okay. That's what I asked you. And you said your confidence level was a 5. I think it should be way higher under the scenario that Lamar Jackson is healthy.
Well, so then you go down the rabbit hole of being like, okay, well, outside of the health, if we put the health conversation aside, which is a big one to set aside, we're not throwing it aside. We're just for the purpose of the exercise doing it for now. I still, there's like a laundry list of concerns for me outside of Lamar as it relates to the offense that
Yeah, but that wasn't the question either. The question is, do you think that Lamar Jackson will bounce back if he's at 90% plus in health? That's the question.
Bounce back enough for them to start winning games again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep my confidence level at that even keel, wait and see where I've been for weeks now, tentative, kind of hesitant to truly feel a level of confidence that's above that 50% mark. I'll still stay at 5 and 10. 5 out of 10, excuse me. So
yeah, that's fine.
let us know in the comments section. Appreciate
and just to the comment section, we just criticized Lamar. Let's not get it twisted. We're talking about reaction to his bad play. It's reaction to it. We just showed his bad reads. We just showed 3 of his bad reads. And we could have showed the inaccuracy. We've covered that before. The criticism is there. That's not the question. You can criticize him. It's the I feel it's an overreaction. And I hope it seems like he's seeing what's being said, and people have forgotten what he's done, and it looks like he wants to remind him. I hope he does. Hey,
and just in case words are parsed or whatever or taken out of context, I couldn't agree more with that. I think I made that clear with the Filipponi stuff from the Pittsburgh side of things.
Yeah, you made that clear.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's an absolutely ridiculous dialogue to be had. He's a radio personality in Pittsburgh. I'd expect nothing less. Doesn't make it any less ridiculous than it already is. So I think we're on the same page there for sure.
Perfect. All right. Should we catch up on a few more super chats? I think we have a boatload of quick hits.
Yeah, sounds good. We left off with I'm scrolling. JL Green. What's up, JL Green? He's telling you to preach. Dark Thunder says Lamar has 2 turnovers. Equals overrated. Can't win the big game. He's quoting folks out there. Josh has 2 turnovers. He's quoting others out there. Bills let him down. He's the GOAT.
See, this is really funny, though, from fan bases, because I actually saw a Bills fan say the same thing in reverse, where a Bills fan was like, oh, well, if Josh Allen has a bad game, it's yada, yada, yada. It's, he's the worst. He's not leading his team, this and that. He goes, but if Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow have a bad game, it's the team. Like he almost said, or nobody talks about it. And then so a Ravens fan replied to him because they were saying it's crickets if Lamar has a bad game. Then a Ravens fan replied with a Twitter kind of screen grab, and it said trending #1, Lamar Jackson. It's like, yeah, no, people were talking about Lamar's game. He was trending #1 in sports categories. And so it just feels that way because it's like what you see from other fans or what you see from other fan bases or whatnot. But I think everybody gets criticized for sure. It's just who are you listening to?
Yes, and it's a matter of what circles you choose to consume when it comes to the social media sphere too. It's all out there. You go to any market, particularly any market that's a consistent one and loves football the way Baltimore diehards do. Yeah. You'll be surprised. And the more I check in with other teams, like I typically do on a weekly basis in season, Sarah, for us to get different snippets from press conferences and whatnot, you'd be really surprised to see how similar some of these conversations are when you go from market to market.
I would say, especially with Josh Allen, but I will say, and maybe I'm just looking at the wrong stuff, it does feel different with Joe Burrow, who hasn't won, it's still riding off of that Super Bowl appearance.
Maybe from a national, I can't speak to the local, but the national perspective, I could see where you're going on that one for sure. Joseph Burton 92 says Lamar played terrible Thursday. In context, though, he made quite a few plays / throws to keep us in the game. 2 drops, and this is where I'm hard. This is where it's difficult. Are we categorizing them as drops from Devontae Walker for touchdowns? I'm not comfortable with that.
I don't think so. I mean, they're balls he could have caught, but they weren't. Drop is when it's just like they should have had it. Like it was, there was some, like I remember a defender getting his hand on a ball in one of them and he's diving for another. It's hard to call them drops.
The probability there is not high in terms of the conversion of those plays. But I hear what you're saying, Joseph. Devontae, of course, wants to make them. He gets very limited opportunities and snaps. And so I'm sure he's kicking himself for him. And he's made great plays like that in the past, particularly his college tape. But anyway, the rest of the super chat says likely just not falling in the end zone. He's going on to say what didn't happen around Lamar. The push-off play by Zay, of course, we talked about this in length too on Friday and during the post-game show. The OPI was very phantom, very ticky-tack there. So I get where you're going with it, Joe. Oh gosh, her name is it Laura? Typically, Kato Laura, Baltimore 1843. This one's for you.
Yeah, she says, thankfully they are poking an injured bear. Also, I have more faith in Lamar than Rodgers. Nephew Shador, Burrow. Go Ravens.
Is it Keto or Cato? Help me out there. Dark Thunder 35 said, when Lamar's footwork gets sloppy, he misses easy routine throws. If I can see it on my TV, then our coaches should be able to correct it in game. Chef Trez is here.
Chef says, Sarah, you keep saying if Lamar can get healthy, but can he get healthy behind the offensive line with the Steelers defensive line coming into town? I think it's a fair question. I will say it looks like they are putting Emory Jones in. We'll have a slide here in a minute on why Emory is replacing Voorhees over Fa'alele. So, I mean, hopefully at least the left side gets better with him going in there. But it's a fair question. I'll just say this. Well, I think it's different, though. I was going to say he stayed healthy behind practically the same offensive line last year, but I do think that they have regressed. And like Coach Evans and other film study people think it's George Warhop, who's the new offensive line coach. And so it's a fair question. So we will see. I mean, it's hard to predict injuries.
First to 10 wins on Sunday.
I'm
First
not
to
going
10
to
points.
I'm not going to go that far. First to 20.
Why do I
First to
get the
20.
sense this is going to be like 20-19, 17 to friggin' 15? Oh,
not if you're running Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell. Come on, Todd.
Well,
come on, Todd.
Well, we know that. We know they did in the wild card game last January. That's for sure. And they did so effectively. They ran all over the Steelers in that playoff game. Linda is back. Was at the game Thursday. Lamar was moving just fine. It was accuracy and his teammates dropping balls. Also, play calling for sure. Where did Derrick Henry go after his touchdown? Head scratching. And another one, Linda has dropped in a $100 super chat, 2 10s, and here's a third 10 for you.
DW, almost touchdown happened right in front of me. He should have caught it. Very catchable. I could have caught it. Wait,
Devontae.
Where's Linda's positivity now? That's gone.
Yeah, Linda, where you at, huh? Devontae Walker, there's DW, of course. Appreciate you, Linda. Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for being with us on this Monday. Time for our quick hits. Why don't you lead us in?
Yeah, okay. So over the weekend, we found out, this is actually, I think it was after the Bengals game, but sometimes these fine announcements don't come for a week. But Jonah Schaefer reported that Draymond Jones was fined $14,055 for his apparently, quote, violent gesture, as the NFL put it, after a sack late in the Week 12 win versus the Jets. Draymond, quote, retweets Jonas and says, I was just saying it's over. It's this whole gesture. It's also telling people stop talking, like, ooh, cut it. Stop talking, like you're digging yourself a hole. He says, I was just saying it's over, like in a competitive sense. Then he gets funny, sarcastic, and he goes, and now my kids aren't going to have Christmas gifts this year. # thank you, NFL. So I appreciate the sarcasm laying on.
Draymond is funny. He's
a
good personality. I've listened to a couple of his media scrums up on the YouTube page. He's funny. And aside from last week when the pass rush disappeared, his previous 3 weeks since being acquired was phenomenal. And you like the potential that's sort of blossoming between he and Mike Green as a future. I'm saying, Draymond's obviously he won't be in Baltimore forever, but maybe they bring him in and extend him. He's 28 years old. Mike's obviously just getting his career started. I can't imagine Kyle Van Noy is going to be in Baltimore for all that much longer. But I like what Draymond Jones has brought, and hopefully that wasn't just an outlier those 3 weeks against lesser competition, because they're going to need him down the stretch.
For sure. And I'll just say this type of stuff does bother me. Like, it's a quote unquote violent gesture. Football is a violent sport. And so this to me is just performative gesturing of like, listen, I mean, we can like go run 20 plus miles per hour, full speed at one another, and just kick the snot out of each other. Look at Aaron Rodgers this morning. He looked like he was run over by a truck, as I said earlier. It's a violent sport. And then somebody says it's over, and that's $14,000. I don't care that these guys are making millions. It's still $14,000. And so it's like, over what? It's just like, you're just trying to pretend that this isn't a violent sport. It is. And I like the spirit of the rule. Like, we don't need it to get more violent than it already is outside of the whistles, but that's not what this is. And it bothers me that it feels like a performative gesture.
I have similar issues with the way unsportsmanlike conduct is officiated and how they regulate that. That's got to get, come on. Like, what are we doing here? To a certain extent, you know, they got to have more of a feel for what's happening in between the lines. And to your point, just how it's maybe outside of rugby. I mean, it is the most violent, grueling, physical sport that we have ever in the globe. So what else you got for us?
Next, what else we got here? All right, let's see here. Okay, so this is a topic that we should probably talk about a little bit more. Kevin Ostreicher pointed out against the Bengals that Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman combined for 2 catches for 6 yards. Now, obviously, Zay's long touchdown catch got called back after an OPI, so there is that context. But that's why I want to zoom in a little bit more into Bateman. I feel like Zay has been, he's been used pretty appropriately over the last several weeks. But Bateman, he's been injured. He was back for the first time on Thursday. He got 1 target, no catches. But I think he's an important piece. Do you anticipate a December bounce back for Bateman?
Ooh, certainly hope so for this team, because they're not the same in the red zone without him. They're not the same in the middle of the field, the intermediate passing game. And quite frankly, the offense functions at a much lower clip without Seven. Like, we got to put some respect on this guy's name. High ankle sprains are really tough, especially when it comes to separating and route running and everything that makes, a shifty, take the top off the defense type of talent that is Rashad Bateman. And so that's worrisome to me. I don't know. I don't know, because he missed a couple games. He was targeted just once on Thursday night against the Bengals. And that worries me moving forward for him, that they need him in the month of December. And I just don't know if he can get himself fully healthy. You wonder if he was really pushing to play maybe earlier. I mean, just a 2-week recovery timetable for a high ankle sprain. Now, we don't know the severity, the specifics of what made the high ankle sprain high, if you will, but that's concerning.
Yeah, I would need to go back and see some more all-22 film to see how he was looking in his routes and whether he was open. Obviously, Lamar was off and there were missed reads and all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to see better how he looked, because unless he's getting the ball, like, the cameras just aren't on him. So some of that all-22 film could help us get a better idea on that. And then just for those who are asking, and I have seen lots of these questions here in our chat, I've seen it on Twitter. And so Dev Panchwa, because he was asked, like, why is Emory Jones filling in on the left side instead of for Daniel Fa'alele on the right side, who's been obviously a lightning rod. So he says that Voorhees has been worse than Fa'alele, but said he wanted to get Jeff's Rebeck's thoughts. Jeff chimes in and says, yeah, I don't think it goes beyond what you said, Dev. They feel like Fa'alele has been better than Voorhees. And to be clear, I've talked to a few coaches who have faced the Ravens, and they don't disagree. So I think that's, which is kind of a sad commentary, because Fa'alele has not played super well. So to say that Voorhees is worse is quite the commentary on Voorhees. And I don't doubt it. I mean, how many people have we talked to that watch all the film, do all the grading? They all say the same thing. Voorhees has been overall worse than Fa'alele. Fa'alele has those low light reel moments that are just so fun, so easy to poke fun at. But Voorhees just isn't getting the job done at a bigger rate than Fa'alele.
What else you got for us?
Let's see here. What's this one? Oh, just a little shout out to Charlie Kohler. Yori puts out here that the highest rated offensive player against the Bengals was Charlie Kohler.
He deserves to get paid. Contract year. Has never really realized his full true potential, sitting in a tight end room that's been constantly jam-packed, fighting for targets, Sarah. And he does everything well. He does everything that you never will see on a stat sheet. It's been nice to see him cash in on some of those things that pop up on the highlight reel this season. But he is somebody that I think is going to be a coveted player in free agency. And I wonder if that's going to be in Baltimore, depending on some of the decisions they have to make with their entire tight end room. And that doesn't include Pat Ricard, but include him in the fact that all 3 tight ends and the fullback, obviously, as we keep talking about all season long, are all in contract years.
Right. All 3 of them. Meanwhile, this one makes me sad. linebacker Chandler Martin, who is an undrafted free agent for the Ravens, kind of came out of nowhere and has been great on special teams. He finally gets an opportunity, and he suffered a torn ACL and is out for the season, according to Around the NFL from the NFL Network. So, that makes me so sad for him.
Me too.
It's too bad. Meanwhile, a lot of people tagged both you and I on this. We talked last week about the push-off and the OPI called on Zay Flowers. We mentioned then that it was a weak call because you could call that 20 times during a game and most people don't. And they didn't call it on this play. Let me get rid of the audio here. They didn't call it on this play in the same game with Jamar Chase versus Marlon Humphrey. And you can obviously see here that he does get a bit of an advantage, a little bit of space here at the end. Watch this. They're kind of hand fighting. And then boom, push off, created space. That was not called, but Zay's was. So it's just rough that there's no consistency there. And when you have it in the same game like that, people are going to notice it and be outraged.
Yeah, I think it goes with what we were talking about last week, right? How many times does that happen in all uncalled fashion? How many times a game? I mean, dozens?
Yeah.
Dozens of times per game. So it's in some cases, it's just the luck of the draw, or perhaps in Zay's case, the unlucky part of the draw. Congratulations to Mark Andrews and his new fiance. I believe her name is Elena Yates. These two have been dating for quite a while, I believe. And Mark's just, look, on a personal note, Mark's just a great dude.
Yeah, he is.
He and I are both ambassadors for Preston Automotive Group. And so I've learned a lot about Mark just on a personal level through that partnership with the dealership. Preston's done some giveaways with us, Sarah, over the years, and Mark's just genuinely a good dude. So cool off the field moment for him, and he's had plenty of on field moments from a milestone standpoint in recent weeks as well. So good
I know, just after last year, obviously ending so poorly and being criticized by everybody, including me, and just having a really rough off season. And when he did come back for, off-season training and then also the regular season, just the questions continued to persist about how he was able to work through such a low moment. And he always gave a few people a shout out, but his girlfriend, now fiance, was one of those people, and how he leaned on her and her positivity in lifting him up. And so it makes me happy that, they've been through adversity together. They know how each other reacts in adversity, and that's an important thing to know before you are to get married. And as somebody who's been married for 18 years with my husband for 20, I can tell you adversity never stops coming, and you want somebody who can battle through with you, not against you.
She's fun too. She has like a creator type Instagram profile, documents a lot of Mark's life, their life together. Got a big following. So yeah, Elena Yates on Instagram, if you guys want to go check her out and congratulate the two of them on their engagement. Kai and Carl, thank you both for believing in what we're building. We appreciate you guys for the continued support that you give us through Patreon. This is your monthly shout out. So thanks, guys. And if you guys are interested in doing the same out there, you can visit patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. Appreciate you both. Partner, that just about does it for us. Anything else on your end?
I don't think so. Just looking through. Yep, we're all caught up on super chats. No, I'm just excited for this week. It's Ravens Steelers. This is great. Ravens Steelers is always fun. The fact that they're tied at 6-6, fighting for the lead of the division. It should be an exciting week, and I'm looking forward to it.
This is going to be a big week, massive week. Closing. I mean, December's here. First of all, December's here. Now, while it feels a little strange, I'll be honest with you, a little strange for me personally to be in Florida, December 1st. I'm going through the emotions of not being in the Northeast and seeing everybody in all walks of life that I've grown up with and whatnot, posting their snow photos, including everybody that was home in my family in Albany over the Thanksgiving weekend. It's December football. And now, baby, the contenders start to separate themselves from the pretenders, and it's going to get real good over the next month or so. So we look forward to all that and more. We appreciate you guys so much for all the support, especially those that came out in droves today in super chat donor fashion. So thank you. Sadesh, hit us up, man. Let's see if he's hit us up yet, Sarah, over email, BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. I hope he does. Nothing yet. But Sadesh, hit us up, man. Congratulations on winning. And that means December is here. So we'll open up a brand new giveaway. We'll have more information on that in the coming weeks. For Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Schrossett signing off from this Monday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. Welcome to week 14, baby. And join us tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern. Hopefully we'll have Brooke Pryor on later in the week for all things Pittsburgh perspective. Appreciate you, Voltrons. We'll see you next time. Later.